So here it is. You know, a very, very common word, will, which means willpower, desire, etc. And of course, will in Elizabethan English, I'm not saying it, in Elizabethan English, will carries the secondary sense of sexual organ. It is a reference to the male sexual organ. And of course, Shakespeare has endless joyous time punning on his name, saying, I mean, you have this, the voice guy on BBC, I don't know if he's aware of it, he keeps calling himself Will I Am. That is exactly the pun which Shakespeare will show you in one of the poems. The whole poem is about will, something like in one sonnet, the word occurs 34 times or something, you know. So remember, this is very important. Will in Shakespeare always is a pun, is a euphemism for the male sexual organ. And where I disagree with him is, he says it's a secondary meaning. It is a primary meaning. It is not at all secondary. And in other words, for the Elizabethans, these meanings were crystal clear. They would immediately understand it. And let me prove it to you how this works and why this is absolutely true. The gravediggers in Hamlet, for example, have an incredible sort of time of punning endlessly and having a conversation with Hamlet and Horatio, full of amazing references. And of course, they were the lowest of the lower classes. They were the gravediggers. So imagine, therefore, this is what Shakespeare is saying. And of course, the porter in Macbeth, you know, is an incredible punster. And if these lower class people in Shakespeare are masters of punning poetry, in fact, it were the aristocrats who were the dumber, and they probably would have difficulty in understanding the slang. Although there's no doubt that they too also understood it. So he's wrong to think it is secondary. In other words, this guy has come so far, but even there he doesn't go further. And hell means the female organ to the Elizabethans. Now, where he's wrong again is this. It is not, hell doesn't always mean the female genitalia, just like that. It is rather the diseased female genitalia, which is hell. And in King Lear, the greatest play of Shakespeare, you have a fantastic speech by Lear, 80 years old, who has this outburst, misogynistic outburst against the woman, saying, literally referring to the genitalia, saying it is hell, it is damnation, you know, etc. It's very, very powerful. So again, it is not secondary at all. Where he is wrong is to say that it is hell, which means that it is more the diseased hell, or the hell which is full of fire and brimstone. Now this brings me to another thing. Fire and brimstone always in Shakespeare means VD. It means burnt. The hell is the burnt sensation of the illness. And we shall see how in the last sonnets this occurs. I will show you how people haven't understood it. Or they have, but they try not to. Now here, fire, okay, has nothing to do with me. Fire has the secondary meaning of sexual disease. I already told you. But it's really not secondary. Again, as I said, it's primary. So in other words, already this is the framework we shall be dealing with. And quite early on, in something like 1640s, someone called John Benson was so disturbed by the sonnets that he brought out its second edition. In other words, the sonnets were published for the first time after Shakespeare's publication, and he changed all the pronouns in the sonnets to give the impression that all the sonnets are dedicated to a woman. It isn't. There are 154 sonnets. 126 of them are dedicated to a man. Now everybody says a man. You see, I mean, even this lady, ardent Shakespeare, goes as far as acknowledging it is a man. But no one, even these people who come so far, they suddenly, it is incredible, they suddenly are frightened of the horses and the truth, and they start withdrawing, and they say, man, has nothing to do, soon you will see, it is dedicated to a boy, and the man is not a boy, and vice versa. So therefore, 126 poems are written for a boy, and initially, therefore, something like 20 poems less, is trying to convince him to get married and produce children. Then suddenly he breaks loose and he starts courting the boy. And then on 1 to 6 sonnet, it stops and the theme of the woman is brought in. Now, the theme of the woman, therefore, is the rest of the sonnets, and all of them are 154 sonnets. So 154 minus 126, one sonnet is not technically regarded as a sonnet, gives you 28. And 28 is thought to be a reference to the woman's menstruation period. So there are many, many puzzles in Shakespeare's sonnets. And once you get the hang of it, you can be masters of it too. I mean, if you can think and see, you can come up with your own interpretations. It's a fascinating subject. It is a wonderful subject, great subject, and I hope we shall sort of dig new trenches in Shakespeare scholarship this evening. Now, another part of the background is for you to understand, and here is absolutely, this is absolutely true, absolutely radically new. No one has yet latched onto this, in spite of millions of books about it, and this is the theme of slavery. People think that slavery was 19th century and, all that, and, sort of anti-slavery movement, etc. No. Slavery is as old, as old as the Roman emperors. I mean, there were African Roman soldiers in Britain long before slaves. Africa was a kind of well-known continent because of the Roman Empire and its colonies in Africa, etc. There was this absolutely disgraceful character. You don't know to laugh at him, to pity him, to do what? I mean, he's an absolutely, one of these totally evil people, and yet if you have some kind of compassion, you can see that, as the British say, the man is trying to make a living or something, but he's absolutely obnoxious, someone called John Hawkins. And this guy, at about 1562, has this, strange idea and works on it. Remember that there was slavery before even Britain. The Portuguese were doing slave business. So this John Hawkins goes and collects and acquires 300 Africans from Guinea, the coast of Guinea. And look what he does. he buys some of them.